I'm Andrew Can, and if I can, you can too. It is fantastic to be live streaming once again to all of you. Thank you so much for joining, whether you're old or new. Today, we're going to be discussing YouTube changes and betas and some of the things that have been happening on the YouTube platform. A lot of the sources I will mention during this stream will be linked in the description. And if you're watching the replay, I'll make sure to add some timestamps so you can jump around this video. That being said, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for joining me for my first stream back in quite a while. Good to see some familiar faces such as Urban Explorer, aka Neil. I see Scully's, House of Thrillers. It feels good to be back. I am super excited for some of the YouTube changes that have been coming out. YouTube as a platform is ever evolving and changing. And such, so should we as creators, and being prepared for those changes helps us know what they plan to do in the future. Now, YouTube historically has been a little bit tight-lipped on what they are doing to make the platform better, or in some cases, people might argue worse. But I wanted to show some of those positive changes and show off some of the things that YouTube is doing to really make a difference. So I'm really excited. I see Mario the Rick Roller says, I miss you, Andrew Can. Thank you, Mario. It's really do appreciate the kind words there. I see Gutsy too. So really excited just to be joined by everyone. So the first kind of change I want to be discussing is what they are doing in terms of search. So YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. So one of the things that you should be very aware of when it comes to YouTube is any changes they make to search. Now, this was a beta change, and it was actually Nick Nimmin, who will be linked in the description down below with the tweet he mentioned this on. And it's interesting because they're actually testing grid search. And what I mean by that is quite this. So as you can see right here, sources are linked below. We can see that YouTube is testing out what it would be like if search was more in a grid format. It's actually very interesting because if you don't know, right now, YouTube search is just kind of a straight line, and there tend to be rankings in a certain order. But because they're changing the way it could be laid out, this kind of matches more to what we see on mobile. I see the artist Haven says, greetings, y'all. I missed Andrew too. Thank you so much for the kind words. Do appreciate it. But speaking of kindness, I actually don't mind this feature. I think it makes sense with where YouTube is moving. A lot of its user base actually does watch on mobile, and I think the desktop version getting this grid kind of system makes sense, and it puts more of the emphasis on thumbnails, which when it comes to search, thumbnails, titles, and a little less on the description than it used to matter. So if they do go through with this change, again, this was a beta feature. So you do need to keep in mind that they may change this, but I don't think it's a bad thing. But I would be curious to what you think of a more grid-like search pattern. I, for one, think it could be interesting. I think it would put more of that emphasis on search. Of course, if you know Nick Nimmin, he took a search for how to cook a cake. And so it's very interesting to see how they are going to make this more important, especially. Now, I see from Urban Explorer, grid will make people up their thumbnail game. Absolutely. And I think it's not a bad thing, especially when we consider that thumbnails are so important to the YouTube platform. I think that thumbnails are just as important, if not more sometimes in the video you're creating in terms of the messaging. Because if you don't have a thumbnail that is clickable, that grabs attention, then people may not make it to your video. The video is very important. In fact, once you get them there, they have to keep watching. But I think it's interesting that there is more of this focus on thumbnail, and I really do. So that being said, I want to talk about another feature that they have been testing, and this one really excites me. I actually found this out on an MKBHD video, and it is time-stamped comments. And if you don't know what that means, basically whenever a user chats, it'll show you where they actually were watching up until when they made that comment. So for example, this person made it to 9 minutes and 36 seconds. This person made it to 9 minutes and 27 seconds. And I really do like this feature. Again, like the other features I showed, it is in beta, but I think this is so useful when it comes to just how they plan to make features, especially when we think about YouTube as not only just a platform for posting videos, but it's a social media. And I think that when you have the ability to see where a user actually was in the video, it gives a whole new meaning. And if someone says this video sucks and all they've ever watched was 00, then you know they didn't actually watch the video, and it gives you a little bit more detail as a creator. I think that that is such a really good addition, and I really hope that this goes from this beta feature to more. And if you want to see more, I actually was able to get this, which says, "Welcome to timed beta." As the video plays, comments about what you're watching will show up here. The next comment will appear at 28 seconds. And again, as far as you get in the video, describes how far, your comment will go. And I think that's super useful. I see that Danny says, yeah, time-stamped comments are such a great idea. And I fully agree. And I think that especially when it comes to creatives thinking that, hey, is this video any good? If I know that the negative comments didn't even make it through, then that's really cool. Now, I did try, and this is just me trying and testing again a beta feature. They wanted feedback. I'll give it to you. I did try to manipulate it. So like I switched to 916. Like I went further in the video and tried to comment, but it actually, at least in this beta form, again, it might change as we go to the rollout. It was smart enough to know I didn't actually watch until 916. So the comment still said how long I actually watched the video for. And that is incredible because even if you try to manipulate it, at least again in this beta testing form, it didn't seem to work. And I tried it a few times. Now, I think just because they are aware of this and are testing this, it shows a commitment to this feature. And I really hope we see more with it. I, for one, am super excited about this of all the new beta features that I've seen thus far. But we have even more. Another feature that is kind of new, it's been around since last year, is viewer applause. And this is actually the video that I made on it. And so the viewer applause feature is right near the share button. Now, this is an optional rollout beta. What that means is that YouTube will be giving this feature as they choose. If you have access to the feature, you can see it in monetization. So if you want to see if you have access to the viewer applaud feature, you just go to your monetization tab in the YouTube studio. But the button is right now near the like, dislike, share, and applause. So if you click on applause, they've actually upped this feature since its initial release. I see the artist Haven says, wait, what is this exactly? So it's basically a different form of super chats, but for traditional videos. So you can applaud. It says, buy a fun animated applause, which directly supports Andrew Can. The crazy part about this is I've actually gotten viewer applause on some of my videos already, and some people have done the 50. It was just on random videos, and it's insane to me. It has gotten better. And now it actually, if you look here, it'll show a comment that lets you know when people have applauded a video. But when it first came out, people would just applaud and you'd have no idea who sent you the money. And so I'm very thankful that they actually put some indicator for the commenter and the uploader of, hey, this person has applauded, $50, $10, $5, $2. Because before, I had 2 viewer applause from people that just sent 50. I have no idea who they were from. If you're watching out there, thank you so much. It did not go unnoticed. But I really likes this. I see from Neil, I think people will end up going in depth about when people left a comment instead of looking at the average retention. I think that's actually pretty fair. I think if I'm going to comment on a video, like if I'm trying to support my friends, not to say I ever do this, but it'll be something like if I'm going to support a video, it definitely will make me think, well, they're going to see I only watched this for like 10 seconds when I'm like, I'm just happy to see you upload. So I do think it'll change commenting behavior. So I see that there was a little bit of confusion for before and after demix. So early on, you had no idea who it's from. Now, as you can see here, as I will highlight, they actually give you a little special comment icon, or not. I guess it didn't. It's like, he waited too long to applaud. But right here is the special icon on your comment. So this is super useful to know that, hey, let's say someone like the artist Haven sent me $50 and applaud. Yes, it will let me know. I love this question from Success is the Goal. It does require YouTube monetization. I have this full in-depth video linked in the description if you want to learn more about viewer applause. So this is super useful. I do wonder though, will this work with the timestamp feature? So not only did they applaud, but I would love to know, hey, at 15 minutes in my 20-minute video, for example, that Andrew Can applauded. I think that'd be really useful combining those 2 features, and I would love to see it. But again, another beta feature. And you might be wondering, okay, Andrew, you've shown some really cool features, but I don't have any of these. How do you get them? Well, If you weren't asking, let me show you anyway. So the way you get there, and again, this will be linked in the description. I want to make sure that you guys can have access to do this stuff. So the sources I'm mentioning are linked in the description if you want to learn more. If you go to youtube.com/new, and again, I will make this full screen and then we will zoom in just a little bit, youtube.com/new. In fact, I will drop this in the chat for everyone. That way you can take a look at it yourself. You can see that this is where any new experimental features they show. Now, I do believe, one, you need to be signed in, and I think you need YouTube Premium. I think that's one of the requirements. It may have changed. Again, this, as betas do, update very frequently. So it's very interesting. So if you're ever like, hey, are there any new features coming out? Head over to youtube.com/new. Make sure you sign up to shape the fate and the future of YouTube. So you can click on the sign up now. It'll take you here where you can sign up for user experience surveys. They'll go ahead and email, they'll reward you. They actually do have some pretty decent rewards. So you're giving feedback, they reward you for your time. And I really have enjoyed getting to, just see some features before they come out. I think it's very useful, especially if you are trying to test out some of these newer features. And I really do like that they're being a little bit more transparent than they have been in the past. And again, as a creator, if there are a way that I can be able to be informed on any decision YouTube is making and give feedback, I want to. So seeing all these new things that YouTube is testing is really eye-opening and really heartwarming because, again, it's a step in the right direction. I'm not above saying that YouTube has some problems, but the fact that we're taking steps in the right direction, in my opinion, is a net win. So with that, what are your questions around any of the things we have talked about thus far? We do have some more YouTube updates and features to show, but I'm just curious, do you have any questions on any of the stuff we have shown thus far? I also wanted to say thank you to everyone who is watching. It is very appreciated. Whether you are watching live or the replay, I do see you. So I see that the artist Haven said you are worth 5,000. Too bad. Poor artist. So I see here, so the actual comment is stamped with where in the video the viewer was at when they left their comment. Yes, that is one of the coolest features of that beta. Again, I have to stress that everything I've shown thus far is in beta stage, but if it goes farther, I would love to see that one. I think that one is exciting. I do know when I shared that out, a lot of people did make the comparison to Spotify. So I would say that when you are looking at that feature and when you are thinking about it, it is very Spotify-esque. And so I like it because in analytics, it'll give me a little bit more indication of my average view duration if I could see those comments under the graph. So I've been giving feedback like crazy to YouTube. It's something that I'm super excited for. So if we could see those comments with the average view duration, I think that's a win combo. I also requested, and again, this is all in beta, so who knows if we'll get this. I said I wouldn't stop there. If someone liked, tell me where in the video they liked. And they said they would look into that. So could you imagine if we know where someone likes and comments in a video, how powerful that would be? Is that something you would like? Let me know in the chat now. I know for myself, I would love to know where someone liked or disliked just as much as where someone commented. So let me know what you think. I also see Urban Explorer says, I see you are speaking at People of Video. Yes, I am, Neil. I am speaking at People of Video in Albany, New York. I'll make sure to include that in the description down below. It is a really great event hosted by Dan from Creator Fundamentals. If you are not subscribed to Dan, you absolutely should. I guess I'll give Dan a shout out and link as well. I'm super excited. I'm going to be talking about some of the stuff I learned in growing a YouTube channel to over 500,000 subscribers, what I've learned working with major brands, smaller creators to larger creators. I have over 8 years of YouTube experience. I'm just really excited to share some of the things I've seen, and I can't wait. So I see success is the goal. I'm assuming this yes is based around my comment on would you like to know where someone liked or disliked the video? I'd vote to take the like and dislike away, says Neil. So that's interesting. So the Artist Haven does bring up a good point. I thought dislikes are going away. I've seen conflicting reports on that. I haven't seen anything personally, and I have searched. Maybe, again, I am not above making mistakes, but at the time of this stream, I have not seen YouTube themselves make that claim, although I have seen a few third-party websites make that claim. If they do, I hope they replace it maybe with a more dynamic system, maybe with a system that gives a better overall idea. But since they are tying comments with timestamps, maybe it's a rating with a timestamp. Maybe the ratings could be more in depth. Maybe you're happy at one moment, but disgusted at another. I think if people could have like dynamic reactions like on Discord, where I could use an emoji, maybe I am happy at the beginning of the video and then I'm disgusted when there's like this really, really not safe for work that is just like gross and grimy. And it gives me and an audience member like, okay, something happened here. Again, just ideas. A lot of this is in beta, but I'm really, really curious to know. So, knowing when someone likes or dislikes something would help me as a creator improve. Absolutely, because I feel like that is something that at the current state of YouTube, it's very hard to know, did they actually watch the video? Is this someone who just normally dislikes my stuff and doesn't genuinely care? And I think at the moment, if they're going to do, more reactions, it would be very, very useful to know what they're thinking. I think the dislike and like really affects the people living in princess society we now live in, and everyone seems to be affected by slight negativity. Algorithmically, it doesn't really matter. I guess what I'm actually looking for with a dislike is, did you not find this information helpful based on the kind of content I create, or is this just not your taste? I feel like it doesn't give enough information. And that's why I don't like dislikes. And also, I've seen friends I've been personally dislike bombed. It doesn't really affect the video because, in fact, all engagement's good engagement, at least in the current state of YouTube. But I would like to know, is this actually a bad video, or did you just not like it? Hopefully that made sense. Serendipity Bakery says, I'm late, but I made it. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, another thing I wanted to kind of bring up in the discussion of beta features from YouTube is the stories feature, which again started as a beta. It's going out more and more. Started in India, it's now here in the US. And one of the things that they've been doing and working on, especially in your videos, and if you don't know about this, I really want you to pay attention, is make sure in your uploads, and I'll go ahead and show a little bit behind the scenes. I'll go ahead, share my screen now. You want to make sure you deselect this one option on all your videos. So in order to do this, you go here, select all, then select all again, hit edit, and then make sure short sampling. If you don't want your video to be featured in YouTube Shorts, you can say either allow sampling or don't allow sampling. And again, if you want to know, it says allows people to create shorts using parts of your videos. Not allowing this will permanently delete any shorts that have sampled your videos. This wasn't here before, but YouTube has since added it in. So what I would say is you want to make sure if you're not interested in your videos being short sampled, you turn this on. You can update all your videos to have it. You can say, I understand the impact of this action, so this update can't be stopped. So it's going to update all of your videos, making sure that that is disabled. So just a little bit of helpful information in case you were unaware. I see Susie Valentine Realtor says, what's up, Scully? Hi, Andrew. Hey, Neil. Great to see you. Happy to have you here with us talking about new YouTube features. We just talked about YouTube Shorts sampling, where if you're unaware, YouTube can actually, was by default, and I'm glad they've changed this, letting people just sample any content on the platform. I get the reason why, but not every piece of content needs to be short sampled. So that is one of those things where I'm curious your opinion on those short sampling. What do you feel about it as a creator? I see something from Kate here. I have no idea what my opinion is on short sampling. I have it turned on right now, but I guess it depends on how they'll be used. For me right now, I have it turned off, and it's just because I don't know how I would use the feature, yet alone someone else. I think that there are some videos that naturally warrant themselves to kind of be sampled, but I don't know in my use case, again, as someone who does more tutorials and short films, I think I'd rather have my short films reacted to more so than a tutorial. And that's just kind of where I stand now. But maybe in the future, if a tutorial goes out of date, that could be very useful for someone to sample. Again, I'm still trying to figure out my feelings on it, but I'm curious to how you all feel about the short sampling idea from YouTube. Again, a lot of new features, a lot of beta features, just making sure that we are talking. I see before and after the mix says, I'm going to be doing this right now. And again, if you didn't know, it was just something YouTube kind of rolled out. So as I praised them earlier for telling us a little more about beta features, got to give them a point back for just rolling out something like that without telling us. So I see that Susie says that they have it turned off for now. And again, I think that where I'm still coming to grips with it is I think I'm going to try it on my short films and not so much on my tutorials, unless those tutorials come out of date. And then I don't mind if someone is like, hey, this tutorial is pretty up to date, but this has changed. And I think that is pretty cool. I see from Bubble Tea Kristen, as soon as I release a video, I automatically get dislikes. If someone's trying to let me know they don't like my content, then why are they subscribed to me anyway? And again, I think if you have the timestamp ability to know when and where someone liked or disliked, if they just disliked it at 000, that tells me as a creator they didn't even watch the content. So while that engagement is still good, it also lets me know that they didn't even watch the videos, so they're not here to be supportive in theory. So definitely like that. So this is an interesting question. Success is the goal. Will it affect copyright issues? I'm sure you're asking about short sampling. Again, a gray area on the platform right now. Unsure. I think that if you are sampling a piece of content that has copyrighted content, absolutely it could affect you. If you are, just reacting to a trailer using shorts, it's a gray area. I know that TikTok's a little bit more lenient on it, and Reels is even worse than TikTok and sometimes in that. I think that it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, and it really just depends on each individual copyright holder. I've been recommending people try their own new shorts channels because I've found more success of people uploading contents to a new channel. So those are people who are coming for that short form content and are subscribing for that compared to someone that is watching regularly long form content. I just think it's a different viewer experience, but time will tell. Also, if you have your shorts channel and you have a main channel, then if the shorts channel does get a copyright strike, your main channel is protected. And I think right now that's a huge risk. There are so many people that rely on YouTube and the reach it gives them, not just AdSense, but affiliate marketing, so email lists, things like that. And to have the risk of, sampling maybe a movie trailer, for example, obviously, if the studio gives you the right to do it, you should be fine. But what's to say the studio says no more, all those shorts are removed, and then, it really does matter. But I guess the built-in fail-safe for YouTube's credit is that because the sampling, according to YouTube, I have not tested this, but maybe that's something I can do. They say that if a video has a short sampled in it, when you say do not allow sampling, all videos that sample the short are removed. That's interesting, depending the implementation. So I am curious to what you guys think. And again, just really enjoying being live again, having a lot of fun discussing everything. And if you have more questions on anything related to the features we've talked about today, YouTube in general, feel free to ask. I'm Andrew Cannon. If I can, you can too. Really happy to be back streaming. It has been a while, but I've upped some things. So I've got a new mixer, which is running the sound. I got a comment from Scully a little bit earlier who said that he enjoyed the sound. He said he could tell it improved. Thank you. It's something I'm always working towards. I've also been experimenting with color. So we have blue. We're not just there. I actually had a black shirt on before this, and I just blend in with the background so badly. So just a little bit of update there. But that is something right here. I see this for before and after the mix. This is my main channel, no strike. My backup has 2 strikes. I know what I can and can't get away with after that experiment. And I know that YouTube in the upload process now allows us to see if there are any copyright issues, but I wish there was a way that we could quickly and easily test stuff in our content and know, hey, this will get a strike at least before uploading, because sometimes it gets striked immediately. I know that's trying to help it, but it is something that I've been working with. You already know these companies are out here hunting for copyright infringement. Yeah, a lot of them can make a lot of money finding content that is sampling their stuff, and then they can use that. I don't always think it's nefarious, but I've unfortunately seen more negative than positive. I would love to be wrong here, and hopefully one day I am proven wrong as the industry and as things change and evolve. I see from the set and audio are both majestic. Thank you. Become a Prime. Always great to see you. I see from Alejandra. Nice seeing you, Andrew. Thanks for the update and help. Appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you're enjoying this. I'm really excited. I'm going to be streaming again more frequently. So you're going to see more live streams, more video content too. So excited. I have a lot more free time. I have honestly been the happiest I've been in months. It feels great to be back just talking to everyone here. and I can't wait to get back to making content. So, I have been the happiest I've been in months. It has been really good for my mental health, getting out of this pandemic, working towards YouTube, working on content again that I'm really passionate about, and that's just for myself, has been a breath of fresh air. Not to say I wasn't passionate about what I was doing before, but I think after the pandemic and what a lot of people will realize is that, you can evolve and change, so can your content, and I think that's healthy. I see this from Urban Explorer. YouTube wants to be everything: video, stories, shorts. What's next? YouTube picture? Platform needs to stop competing and stick to what they do best. I agree with that. I do think we do gain some benefit from experimentation. And I think as long as they add more beta features in, for example, I think them borrowing from, I'm just going to say borrowing because that's probably for legal reasons, that's a joke. Borrowing from SoundCloud on the comments, for example, is really good. I think that stories, if done well, can be very useful to reach your audience direct. Do I think that they should focus on some of the other issues plaguing the platform? Absolutely. But I also realize at the scale of YouTube that it is different per place that they're in. So it is it is one of those things that I think as a platform, I do want them to increase some things. Like, I would love to see more features on the video player. I would love to see more interactivity. I fully agree there. I'm not mad with them at experimenting, but I do mind when it comes at the cost of other things that could be fixed. But again, I'm not there behind the scenes. I'm not there prioritizing. Although I fully kind of agree with this. I think that they can focus on what makes YouTube YouTube. I see from Carl Easy Games, now that you have more free time, karaoke battle. I don't think I'm good at karaoke. So I see from Bubble Tea Kristen, I see a super super sticker. Thank you so much. A white unicorn with rainbow hair. So I am using Restream, and if you want, you can get a affiliate link free trial 7 days. In the description. One thing I wish they could get done, and I've been working with them, not like professionally, but just a little bit here, is I would love to see that. I know it's something they're working on. I see from Chantel Hills Fiberific. Hi Andrew, change is good for humans. I feel like it's good for the soul. In fact, I think one person who really successfully pivoted from the content they were doing is actually Urban Explorer, aka Neil. Can for CEO of YouTube. Well, as I've gotten a short taste of what it's like to be CEO when you're not before, yeah, no. YouTube, I can only imagine what Susan Wojcicki goes through. I can only imagine that is very difficult. I see from Bubble Tea, Kirsten, thank you for your time and knowledge. Thank you for the super sticker, and thank you for joining me. We're not done here, but love seeing these things. I see from Kate's Adventures Dance Battle. Instead, Andrew, I've seen your moves. Okay, you have a very unique situation. I have danced with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. If I remember, if you're watching the replay, I'll put that on screen. What a trip VidCon is. But I'm actually super excited because, speaking of VidCon, I think if we want to talk about updates, one of the biggest changes is that VidCon used to kind of be the YouTube event. TikTok is now their title sponsor. They're actually giving more attention to TikTok this year, which is going to be very interesting for the industry. I still think the best event in the game that I've been to, again, I say that I've been to, there are events coming in the future and events I have never been to down the pipeline, is Vid Summit. If you can, Daryl Eves hosts one of the best events out there. Absolutely worth the ticket price. I will probably not be going to that event this year. Got to work on some other things in my job, but if you can go, it is highly worth it. They have some of the best creators, some of the best minds, and just the conversations you can have in the hall is incredible. Viper is in the house. Great to see you, Viper. If you are not following Viper, you need to follow him on all platforms, YouTube especially. Go ahead and subscribe. His talks on Clubhouse, which I'm finally a part of since it's on Android, are game-changing. If you want YouTube news and updates and opinions, Viper has them for you. I see from Malik Plays, love from Pakistan. Thank you for joining us. I'm very happy to be here, happy to just be talking with everyone and just enjoying everything that comes. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about when it comes to going back to new changes coming to YouTube is that YouTube is actually experimenting with more stuff in terms of live. I've actually seen some of the stuff they've been working on in terms of what they want to do. I've seen some like experiments with some channels where they're doing like 180 and 360 live streams. If you all have like headsets and stuff, that sounds super interesting to me. Where you can put on a headset and feel like you're right there. I think for some of the stuff that could be done there is like if you were showing me around, maybe it is a van for Neil, or you were showing me around your studio. I think that'd be so cool to see it in 360, get the viewer more control. I see from Adam Nelson that they have a G7 cam link in 4K. Can I make my stream look as good as yours? That's exactly the setup I am using. So I have the cam link 4K, the G7, and I have a whole video on that. It's what I'm using right now. I love this setup. It's simple, easy, lets me reuse my G7 since I've upgraded, and it gets a lot of use. I have a battery pack that lets me keep it going 24/7, and I've actually run it for 36 hours before. So I've done a 24-hour stream with it, and I accidentally left it on till noon the next day. So that was 36 hours. Wasn't hot, didn't die on me, and I'm still using it to this day. So highly recommend it. Great to see Doug as well. Got a lot of familiar faces, a lot of new faces, and a lot of returning faces. So thank you, everyone. I do appreciate it. Well, Adam says, I saw that video. That's why I asked. Well, this is it in motion. Hopefully you like it. I'm actually running it through Restream.io. So yeah, it's just a little easier than OBS. And if I want guests on, which eventually will be something I'd like to do on these live streams. Again, for the first one back, just want to talk to you direct. Eventually we will have guests. I have some people in the pipeline. So if you're not subscribed already, the one subscribe plug, and I think we're like 31 minutes in. So clearly getting all those new viewers. If you aren't subscribed, that'll be something to keep in mind. But I do want to know if you are interested in 360 or 180 view live streams. Have you experimented with that content type before? And what do you think? And another question I have for you is, we were talking, Neil mentioned this, is how YouTube needs to stick to it. So I would be curious, what do you think if YouTube decided to make its own version of Clubhouse for competition? Again, just food for thought. Andrew finally remembering his YouTube password. I've never forgotten it. My YouTube password is obviously password. It's the most, no, someone out there is going to try that. My YouTube password is not password. It's password and a period. It's very important. You can't just forget the period. Otherwise, you can't get in. Jokes aside, feels really good to be back. It's been a while. If you don't know, actually, in the beginning of this year, I got into a pretty nasty fall and I hurt myself. So I had a pretty bad gash on my face and blood. So I don't want to show that. Want to keep this rolling along, but I actually was hurt pretty badly for the beginning of the year. Other than that, I also made a massive change where I'm fixing some things about myself. So I'm working out again, and I'm also have Invisalign. So I had to get used to those, but it was either get Invisalign, the braces, or my jaw later in life will droop. When my orthodontist told me that, I went, oh, as great as that sounds, let's get them now. So I think there's, I've had time, can create again, and we're back. I see from Urban Explorer, God, no. I'm assuming that is to the Clubhouse competitor. So Susie said, I didn't know that. I'm so sorry. It's not something that is very easy to explain. So I just kind of just didn't explain it. But I am back here to talk about YouTube stuff. I think I have photos that are not me in a bloody pulp, but me with the bandages. As much fun as looking like Professor X is, in literally an X, I think I made the right call. Thankfully, at the time, I had enough pre-recorded content at my old place of employment, so all should be fine. But just to show you a little bit, not the bad stuff. Yeah, here we go. You can see my beautiful bandages. It's a lot better than when I had the gauze around my face. At one point, I looked like a pirate. So, believe it or not, I don't think people will trust YouTube advice from that. But I'm fine now. So, Clubhouse is great, but so many people still stroking egos. And I find it a place for people who talk about growing a channel instead of putting the time into actually growing one. I think you can do both. I have found Clubhouse, for me, and the way I've been using it, it's been really good for writing scripts and having something in the background where if I feel the need to, add value, and Viper, if he's still in here, would probably be like, what do you mean add value? You haven't been in one of the lives yet. I have once, but again, I'm making sure I'm focusing on doing my work So one of the things that I would say is if you're going to be using a platform like Clubhouse, YouTube Spaces, YouTube Spaces, no, Twitter Spaces, God, they'll probably call them YouTube Lounges, and then I wouldn't put it past it. So if you're going to use them, make sure you're using them effectively. And again, to Neil's point, make sure you're actually creating content still. Andrew Can, the YouTube pirate. Oh man. Whew. It's what it was like. Having one eye is a lot harder to color grade with and also see. I see here from before and after the mix. Glad you were well and took that time to make some changes that will have an Andrew Can 2.0. Absolutely. I see Serendipity Bakery says, glad you're over that. Me too. Honestly, an interesting time all around. I used to love going on there, but after some conversations going on every day, it got boring. And again, I don't disagree. I see this. I love to listen to Clubhouse while I work. I don't always chat, but I do sometimes. Again, that's kind of how I've been using it. So I think it is really up to how you use a platform. Speaking of platforms, another thing I'd like to see from YouTube is, again, I've been in the beta programs for a while. I got randomly selected for some I don't get in on. One thing I liked that they did, and they still have this in the community tab, which are poll features. I still want more interactivity with YouTube cards. We used to have polls there, but I understand not a lot of people use them. I think there's still a lot of value in YouTube cards, and I feel like they have gotten better, but there's still so much more you can do with them. What are some changes I'd like to see in cards? Well, I would love if we could show in a video two options and let the audience choose. And I think there's so much capability in them, especially considering how they're configured. I would love to see more with them. Polls on live stream are good. Absolutely. I don't have that. Again, speaking of features, don't have access to that one, but I wish they would add them back to videos too. I know why they removed them, but I saw Nick had one, another new feature that they put out. It is in beta, so that's interesting. I see Urban Explorer says that they haven't gotten the shorts camera. So I have it. It's again another optional rollout. I have it on a dummy channel that I used to test copyright content, similar to what Before and After Demix said. And that one has it, but my gaming channel doesn't, and my main channel doesn't. My gaming channel also has memberships, but not my main channel, and that's weird to me. They really are optional. I see from Susie, I love polls. I deleted all my cards, but thinking of starting it up again in the last 50 to 70%. I don't believe polls are still available to be added as cards. I could be wrong, and they may add them again, but that would be what I say. I see from Adam, he's saying, my G7 came with 2 lenses. Which one do I use? Well, what are your lenses? So if you can give me that, I can help you out. Right now, I am using the 24 to 70 lens that I bought. Or no, I'm sorry, the 12 to 35. After the conversion, it's 24 to 70. So I'm using the 12 to 35 Panasonic lens right now. It gives me this nice blurry background. You can see the light behind me. I actually have my hair light up here. So it just gives you a little bit more. No, just cards to other videos. Before and After Demix says you have to have a channel experiment with. Absolutely. I think that is super important. I actually have been interested in shorts just as a concept. Again, one thing I've been telling to people when it comes to shorts or when it comes to TikTok or when it comes to content that's, micro content like that. A lot of people are like, it'll never catch on. And why would people do this? Ugh. What I'm learning, and I've consulted with the channel, they have 30,000 subscribers. Their short blew up, and in it, they pointed to an affiliate program through Amazon. Since that video, this video is only 2 months old, they have consistently made, and again, I do know this will drop off eventually, but for the last 2 months, through Amazon affiliates, made over 5 figures for the last 2 months consecutively. There's value there. The long-term sustainability of it is what I question. But seeing that really changed my mind on shorts as a thing. Also, when YouTube first came out, people are like, no one's going to watch videos on the internet. I don't ever want to be a creator that holds people back from trying something new because YouTube is a platform people doubted. So when it comes to TikTok, when it comes to Reels, when it comes to YouTube Shorts, I say let's give them a shot. Because I never want to be that person that gatekeeps what's good and what's not. Because I think if you find success in something and you enjoy it, it's worth trying. So My shorts do awful, but I think shorts on YouTube are dependent on what you do. I definitely agree with that. I've seen some shorts do great, some shorts have done not so well. And, it really does depend. I find that it's going to be different. The shorts algorithm niched me to watching videos about fruit picking, fruit cutting, open and eating. It's the only thing that pull up on my shorts feed on my YT app. Yeah, not as good as TikTok, at least in my opinion, but it's getting there. I see that we have from Pete John Studio Live today. Hey, it's Andrew Can. Hope you're doing well, my friend. I am doing great. As I mentioned earlier, the best I've done in a long time. Adam says that he is using the 14 to 42 and the 45 to 150. I paid 650 CAD for it from a guy. It also came with 256 gigs, so card, light, Rode, mic, and tripod. I'd probably go with the 14 to 42 personally. Out of the two of the options, that's what I would use. I think that gives you a good variety. I do know it has the very zoom, so it will change the f-stop as you zoom in and zoom out. But I do think that out of those two, if yours has the option to go lower on the f-stop and you can still keep a good look and light, I would definitely go with that. There's no harm in going either and experiment and try it and see what your audience like, what you like. So I think overall it's really good. I see that from Success is a Goal, they're working for me. My niche is perfect for them, or niche. I think that, a lot of people are finding some success, some aren't. And it really, life's a niche. And so is YouTube Shorts. I see from Susie. I might start doing shorts again now that the analytics are better. I've heard and long and short aren't competing with each other. It's true. So, at least for now, we'll see as we go on. I think for your content, especially again, this is based on my TikTok viewing habits, but I can imagine the same would be on YouTube. I love realtor tips, knowing stuff about California, knowing ways to get quick benefit bonuses. I think if you can just bring it up quickly and just, make a complex thing really short and say, hey, I have a longer video on the YouTube channel. Subscribe down below today and check it out. It is such good for lead generation on videos, especially if it gets into the YouTube Shorts algorithm and YouTube pushes it out. I've seen so many people use that as a jumping off point for more content being viewed. Ups and downs with YouTube, but happy overall. Happy to hear that. I've had that same level here. We are at 32 likes. Thank you, everyone who has watched and welcomed me back. It has been very appreciated. I see from Adam Nelson. Awesome. Thank you so much for the advice. And CAD means Canadian. That I did know. So shout outs to people in Canada land, even though I'm no longer where I used to be. Still going to call it Canada land because I don't know. That's what I've always said. So I see from Success is the Goal, I've been mixing it up with 15 seconds, 25 seconds, 30 seconds, and 58 seconds. I found that it's kind of like YouTube and Google video ads, actually, in the terms of like how they're presenting and how they're putting them out there. Another update for all of you watching is I'm now actually Google ad certified. That is something that I have done to give more value in the space, because a lot of times people would ask me questions about ads. And while I've worked with Google and YouTube ads for like the last 8 years on and off, I wasn't to a point where I felt confident in giving advice or recommendations on them and the pros, the cons, what you can learn from them, what you can grow with. But one of the very cool things, and anyone can do this, is, and I will link this as well. If you're not using this, this is how YouTube is breaking down audience types. Let's show this. This is so cool to me. And I hope you guys find this just as fascinating. If you are trying to find your audience, this tool is usually used for Google ads, but you can use it for YouTube. And again, it has the YouTube first. If you're not using this, it helps you do a few things. You can find an audience that helps you understand what's most valuable. Again, it says customers. This is coming from an AdSense, but you can still use this in terms of just defining your audience. So, what I mean by that, what kind of audience? Do you have people actively researching, planning to purchase a product, or people whose interests and habits relate to what your business offers? I would say for most people here, if you are just trying stuff and you're just trying to see if this works, again, I will have this linked right here. This is super helpful. And I would say affinity audiences is going to be what I'd recommend. Canada land. Now that's hilarious. I'm 2 hours away from Vancouver. Very nice. Urban Explorer's like, I've never heard of this. Teach me, Can Man. So this is super useful. So it's literally a way that you can go beyond demographics to find people who matter most to your business. And so you can choose, hey, what am I in? Am I in banking and finance, beauty and wellness, food and dining, home and, oh God, Lifestyle and hobbies. I would say vehicles and transportation. Maybe for you, Neil, urban explorer, that would make a lot of sense. You can go travel, you can go with technology. It does give a good amount. I'm media and entertainment, so that's what I do. It shows, again, this is usually used by advertisers, but I do think there's some value in using these tools. So here I am. I'm an affinity. I'm looking for people. Again, going back to the selection, I'm looking for people whose interests and habits relate to what my business offers. In this case, learning how to create better content for YouTube, learning how to make sure that you are uploading and having good quality content from not only the video itself, but pre-production, post-production. That's what I love doing. So I'm going to start now. We're doing this together. And you can go even deeper. So if you are looking, for movie lovers, music lovers, you can go deeper. Sometimes it may not be the best. You can sign in to continue. And again, you can go deeper. So let's say I'm a movie review channel. Movie lovers is who I'm going for. Music lovers, TV lovers, light TV viewers, gamers. Well, I have a gaming channel. Let's go with that route. It's going to ask me to sign in. I will do that right now. Here's my face again. So let's go on the gamer side and let's actually do this. I have to verify. I haven't had much luck with shorts, but I'm stubborn and will keep trying. Hey, sometimes try and try again and you shall succeed. If not, you at least learn something along the way, and maybe the next time you try, you can succeed then too. So as we go deeper, it's going to give us, so gamers, explore your audience in media and entertainment. People who frequently play console games, mobile games, or online gamers. Again, you can see different things. What are you doing? Gamers are researching or planning to purchase these products. Video games, pet supplies. Interesting. Mobile enthusiasts, avid investors. These are some of the things that people are looking for. And as you start understanding, you can see subcategories. Hardcore gamers. These are things that you can really define your audience for. So if you're going for gamers, this is actually not bad. So for example, I can add this to my profile. I can add up to 4 more audiences. So if I go back to find my audience, it gives me more information. So I'm going back to infinity. Maybe instead of that, let's say I am travel or technology. Let's say I want to do gear. I can say mobile enthusiasts, social media enthusiasts, technophiles. And again, this is super useful if you're trying to find your audience. And again, I have that link. I'll make sure I add it to the description, post it again on screen. That can thinkwithgoogle.com/feature/find my audience. I'm clearly living a van life. So, for example, D. Nimmin, if he was to do this, mobile enthusiasts, what are they interested in? Mobile phones, motor vehicles. They're frequently visiting salons. Again, some of this works, some of it doesn't, but mobile phones make sense. What are they looking for? Business and productivity software. They're looking, you can go so much deeper. Obviously, the 2 things that are most common here are this, but again, I'm going to nerd out with this later. Thanks, Andrew. Again, I am upping my game myself so I can give more value to you, because I feel like when you up your value, when you challenge, when you push yourself, I think you can get better for not only yourself, but your community. And that is what I am doing. In case any of you wanted to see, or I don't think anyone doubted, but just in case, here are the certifications. This is actually free to do. Just takes a little bit of time. Definitely recommend studying, following those rules. But here's the Google display ad. There's actually like 6 courses you can do. And I should, just look up Google Ads video certification or Google Ad certification. They were free to do. They took some hours to complete, but they have so many useful resources. And if you understand YouTube from the advertising side and you start thinking, how is YouTube choosing which ads to put on videos? What are the purpose of each ads? You start thinking of YouTube from another side. I am so excited. I'm actually going to make a video. That is one of the things I plan to do on how much value it is. Now, I don't know, and again, at the time of recording this, it was free. If it changes, I do apologize. But the amount of stuff I've learned of thinking of YouTube at another way, the perspective shift has been invaluable, because when you think about it like that, that is what you can think about. I see this from before and after the mix. I used to quit YouTube at least once a month, but the relation is steady now because people like you, Andrew Can, is helping. Going to try this, find my audience. First, thank you so much for the kind words. I'm glad that you're still out there, and I'm glad you're still creating, because you have a voice and a story to tell. Second, I really encourage you to utilize that. In fact, I'm going to make sure that it is not lost and that I don't lose it. So I'm going to make sure that I quickly, and don't worry, I can multitask. I want to make sure that you guys can get this access to this right away as one of the links down below. If you refresh the stream, you should now see the Think with Google, Find My Audience. There it is. So hopefully that is helpful. Urban Explorer, thank you so much for the 9.99 super chat. I'm currently parked up at a hospital awaiting my first grandchild, and I'll be here all night. So I'll be trying this Find My Audience until baby Urban is born. Yes, I'm going to be a granddad. Congratulations, Neil. Can we get a round of applause for Neil in the chat? That is incredible. I wish all the success to you and your family. I'm so happy for you. Congrats, man. That's awesome. I just imagine mini Urban. The first thing right out is going to be driving the van to the moon to success. Gosh, I'd be a little terrified, but also in awe if that happened. But that is really cool, and I'm glad you shared that. Thank you so much for the super chat as well. It does mean a lot. But I'm glad that you're able to use that feature. It has been so cool. And again, there's a lot of features that are out there, and I'm looking for them. I'm trying to find that value. Whether you are new or old, I think there are so many different ways that you can look at YouTube. There are so many different ways you can drill down. And if there are free resources I can give to you outside the usual, like the Creator Academy, of course, that's always a great resource. But a way to look at it from the other side, that would be great. I see from Jess Book Girl TV, congratulations, welcome. I don't know if I missed your comment. Oop. Congratulations, Urban Explorer. I see a question from Milton. Great to see you here. Would there be or are there changes we should be worried about regarding YouTube? One of the ones that's a little concerning is that private and unlisted videos, or it's one of the, I don't want to be incorrect. So I know they're making a change on how private videos function. So it's either private or unlisted. I know that they were making a major change to how they used to function, and that was something that people were very concerned about. So that's something I would be aware of. I know that that is something that they were contemplating making that change to. I don't know if they ever did. Yes, right here. Susie says unlisted videos would be changed to private unless you tell YouTube otherwise, which is a little scary. I know a lot of people like unlisted videos for their Patreons, and that's what they're using them for. In theory, with private, it should work. Kate says unlisted videos before a certain date are going to be switched to private, that they've opted out. So, yeah, that was the update. That's one I'm a little concerned on. I really do like this question, Milton. I think it's very important. I've opted out. Was that the older than 2017 thing? I believe so. Doug, I believe that was the change they were talking about. Also, if you want more updates on YouTube changes, Doug, if you're not following him on YouTube, Twitter, great for information on that. Does his own live streams that are killer. Doug, I know you do them so early. If I used to be able to join them, but when I moved to California, it's just so early. But I love seeing what you do, man. Keep it up. Although you don't need me to tell you that. So yeah, that was a lot of the YouTube changes. I think that overall YouTube is making more positive changes than negatives. I do think there will be a day when we actually, and maybe it's the optimist in me, where we're like, wow, that is a good YouTube change. And I think that the more we go towards that and the more transparent they are, the more open they are. I know that they've had A/B testing in the work forever. And I think if YouTube can release public and free A/B testing, that would be incredible. That's something I would love to see. And I think it's a feature that should always be out there. I think more information to creators is good. Now, with YouTube's track record, they might make it where you have to be monetized. I wouldn't put it past them. Or if you're not monetized in the YouTube Partner Program, which is 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours at the time of this video, I could see them doing that. But I would like them to do their own version of A/B testing. It's been in the works forever. I know they've been pounding away at it because it's just hard. It'd be true A/B testing, which I get would be very difficult. I think it's something that, even if it was in the beta program, you could sign up. I think you could do a lot. Now, Kate's Adventures, to the privacy change that I mentioned a bit earlier, there's a screen you can go to and check which videos are affected. So that's super helpful. So yeah, great to see Beanie Draws, who says, "Hey, it's Andrew. I've been packing up house, so I missed a lot of the stream." Well, there's always that replay, and thank you so much, Beanie, for joining all the same. We talked about a lot, so hopefully you enjoy it. Beanie, you also were one of the biggest influencers of my iPad decision that I bought recently. So just wanted to say thank you, Beanie. Been really enjoying that. Different way to create content, different way to think of content. But, speaking of content, if you enjoyed the stream, you enjoyed how it looks, I'm actually going to be going really in depth on how I live stream, what I think about my lighting setup, what I have around the studio. So I'm really excited to be creating content again. It's been a blast just chatting with you all. I thank you all so much for your time. Thank you all so much for today. If you enjoyed the stream, consider giving it a like and subscribing. I'm Andrew Can, and if I can,